probably all just got a pop-up, but Zoom still works the way that it has been. Great, I see a bunch of people that told me they could be here are here. Roberta's gonna keep working on her sound stuff. I'm just gonna click the thing on the screen. So we can actually see what's going on. All right, so let's get started on that agenda. And since we do have such a small group, one of the things I love about Green Team is please, anybody feel free to unmute, jump right in. Folks in the room, same thing, although probably skip the whole unmuting part, unless you have something stuck in your mouth, in which case I need to remove that to join the conversation. But our first item is ongoing projects. So signage for campus bins. I see Jay is here, and I have to admit to everybody that I haven't done a whole lot of work on this myself. I've had a lot of other stuff going on, so I don't think a whole lot has happened in this regard. I did throw up the drafts that Jay sent us into the teams, the Green Team, and if anybody doesn't have access to the Green Team, let me know, and I can make sure that you are added in on it. And just a summary of this, we're going to get some new signage in place for bins. The idea was to help with Recycle Mania, but we'll talk a little bit more about that. We're in the last week of Recycle Mania now, so it's really just about getting good signage on the bins now, and really no deadline for that. But we'll keep moving on that. Maybe that'll turn into a project that Jay and I work on by ourselves. That might make the most sense, just to kind of get it out the door. So Jay, feel free to chime in if you have anything to add, but otherwise I'll get in touch with you. We'll keep moving this forward.
Yeah, that sounds great. I just wanted to get it rolling when we're ready and we know for sure how we want to proceed with it. I'm glad to jump in and make any changes. I just waiting for any direction on where to take them, and then we'll wrap them up. We'll get them out to you.
Cool, sounds good. Maybe we can get that moving pretty quickly then, maybe by the end of the semester. Even though I know you guys have got a lot on your plate right now, this is a busy time of year for marketing. So thank you, Jay. Our next item, if no one else has anything to add on that, is the campus or community cleanup event. Now, I looked back through my calendars and emails from previous years where we did a campus cleanup event, and usually that was done the first or second week of April, which is very, very soon, and we probably don't have time to plan for it. I am more thinking of getting together a community cleanup event like we did last year. I think we were at, was it, I forget the name of the school. Was it Stearns?
Yeah, it was Stearns.
Yes, thank you, Daryl. So basically, I'm kind of thinking like if anybody has any ideas, like I thought a school was a great fit, and Stearns was really easy to work with, so I'd imagine a lot of other schools would be really easy to work with as well. And so does anybody have any ideas for schools that we might partner with for community cleanup? I know right now there's a ton of snow on the ground. It's kind of hard to think about that, but last year we did it like end of April, and so we probably do it around that time again this year. If anybody have a favorite school or park or area or really anywhere?
I mean, my kids go to Williams, so I'm happy to throw Williams out there. It's in Pittsfield, but I don't feel strongly about it.
Gotcha. And a local park for cleanup rather than a school. Yeah, Springside always needs a little bit of cleanup. Clap would be a good one. I actually have contacts at the city, so that would be pretty easy to reach out and make happen too. I don't know. Does anybody feel one way? Like maybe we did a school last year, maybe we should do a park this year, and then a school again next year, perhaps.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Okay, cool. So I'm gonna run with Gabriella's idea, and I'm gonna check once the snow melts, which I don't know. It's going to be pretty warm, so maybe we'll get to see what the ground looks like in the next week or so. Maybe just make a judgment call, look and see which one maybe needs the most attention, and I'll reach out to the city of Pittsfield and make that happen. Any other thoughts, any other ideas on that? Would anybody like to help me organize that? If not, that's okay. I can do it on my own too.
Yeah, Christian, just let me know what you need. I think reaching out to the city and seeing what their thoughts are is a good idea. And then once we know a location, I can help from there.
Yeah, and sometimes, you know, if I reach out to the city, they might be like, oh, well, that's a great idea, but how about this other part that we really like need some help with? Who knows? And it looks like Gabriella's happy to help however we might need her. So I'm gonna put the two of you down as go-to folks for this. When I start putting it all together, I'll copy you on the emails and we'll all kind of be on the same team. Sound good? Awesome. And of course, once we get it all planned, we'll send the information out to the rest of the green team members and maybe even all campus. It's really anybody who wants to come help out. All right, any other thoughts or additions to the community cleanup event idea? All right, not hearing anything or seeing anything in the chat, so moving along. This addition to the campus rental policy, we now have a new interim VP of Finance. Christina Wynn is our interim VP of Finance at the moment. And Christina actually reached out to me. She had some ideas she wanted to bring to the green team. So I think her and I are probably going to sit down in the next couple of weeks and go over a bunch of green team items. And this is something I've been kicking around for, this is over a year now in the making. We've wanted to make some changes to the campus rental policy. When people come to campus and either use turf field or really any of the facilities, whether it's a classroom or the theater, just some basic expectations on, you know, clean up when you leave, the same thing they'd expect you to do if you go to a campsite, basically, or an Airbnb for that matter. So yeah, I'm gonna keep working on that. Anything else to add on that? I'm sure there would be. It's kind of been my thing that I've been keeping the can on. The next one is a little bit new. I reached out to Tina in Student Affairs. Last year, they did a great Earth Day event where it was called Plant One on Us, where they had seeds, they had pots, they had dirt, and people could show up in the connector and plant a bunch of things. Linda Mary was there with her jazz plants, for anybody who remembers that. I thought that was really quite awesome. So we're going to try and do a similar thing this year with the Plant One on Us, and we also are going to reach out to Linda Mary, but we can do anything that our heart desires. So if anyone has any ideas for something they would like to bring to our green team, not our green team, but our campus Earth Day event, we're thinking it'll be Tuesday, April 18th. Earth Day is April 22nd, which is a Saturday. So we'll all be home enjoying the weekend. So we thought that last year we did it on a Friday. The turnout wasn't quite as good as we had hoped for. So we're thinking if we do it on a Tuesday this year, maybe we will get more folks involved, more stuff planted, more eyeballs on these topics. So I'm going to be quiet for a moment, and if anybody has any ideas of anything they'd like to bring to Earth Day, we want to have plant labels. Colin has offered to do some laser cutting etching. That would be awesome.
Sorry, I thought I'd queue it up for when we had a chance, but I'm thinking people will just write on popsicle sticks and stick it in the dirt. Getting something like that, but it's etched with whatever we have seeds for. So have a bunch of rosemaries, a bunch of, you know, whatever we're planting, and then a little, the 4 Bs at the top.
Yeah, I absolutely love that. I'll touch base with Tina and connect the two of you. I think they are ordering the plants very soon. Maybe they have done that already, so they should know. They should be able to tell you what exactly we'll have.
Okay.
Other ideas, just to give folks an idea. There's that giant screen in the connector, so I'm going to put together some drone videos of our gorgeous BCC campus from 200, 300, 400 feet, and just have that kind of playing in a loop on the screen. Jazz plants, of course. So I'm going to be quiet again, and if anybody else has any ideas, please feel free to chime in. And if you come up with ideas later, that's okay too. But any ideas you have, if you just want to come and show up, by all means, it'll be open to everybody, really. In fact, I don't even think we mind if community members came in and participated. So yes, any other ideas about that or anything else to add? I'll be sending out more information, and you'll also be seeing it from Tina too. She's Jay, if you haven't seen it already, she's going to be putting in a marketing request for some posters. So
Yep, sounds good.
cool. All right, so you'll hear lots more about that as we come along. And so our next item is the nature trail sign refresh. And I know Roberta's having some audio issues. She's also working with Colin and myself on this, but basically our nature trail on campus is a little bit neglected. So Roberta's working on figuring out which locations are still there and printing out new signs and updating the handout that was created years and years ago that has all the locations on it. Some of the trees, for example, that were locations on the nature trail are no longer there. They've fallen over or just, become a victim of time, if you will. So making sure that we know exactly what's on our nature trail is the first step. And then, I don't know, Colin, do you have anything you want to add? I know we've shown some designs of these in the past. I don't think there's been any changes there.
Right. I have the latest. I think Roberta might share this last time, but in case it got overlooked or in case people missed it, thought I'd just share. All right. So this is the current plan, sort of rectangular, upright nature trail. Like Christian said, Roberta's looking into what stops are still standing and still relevant and adding new ones that have become good teachable moments in the meantime. So that number in the middle will just change. This is in yellow. They're not really going to be in yellow, but it's a good contrasting color for this sort of design. They're going to be blue, and then all the raised parts are going to be in white. So they'll be visible. And then it'll, there'll be a 0-1 for stop number 1, 0-2, 0-3, however many we need. But we got BCC on there. We got green team. People definitely know where they are.
Cool, definitely something cool to look forward to. I love that. Thank you, Colin. I see Roberta's in the chat too, but she can't hear anything we're saying. So we will move on to our next item. We're just kind of flying through the agenda. That is okay. The next item I know Roberta was going to talk about is the pollinator project. And that is something that has sort of turned into a bigger project than it was when it first started. Originally, we were talking about just making some signs on campus and maybe making some additions or changes to campus along working with facilities to make that happen. And now we have a partner in the Conway School. And I actually have to admit, I don't know a heck of a lot about this. I was kind of hoping Roberta would be here to talk about it. Does anybody else who's plugged into this call? I don't know if you're connected to this at all. I don't know if you are. I don't think you are.
I'm sorry, you said me?
Yeah, sorry. This is the pollinator.
I only know that this is the idea with the trail markers is that we'd sort of try it out with the Lambert Trail and then do other ones. So the pollinators project is also on that Roberta was finding indigenous pollinator plants that would attract pollinator species and then planting them, sort of in a central part on campus that people would walk past a lot. So that's going to involve working with facilities and others, but then have labels on them so you know what you're looking at and things like that. Correct.
In fact, hearing what you said, Colin, jogged my memory that one of the things that Roberta and I are working on with Christina Nguyen, the interim VP of Finance, is perhaps getting some sunflowers and other natives planted right along the outskirts of the BCC garden back behind where the parking lot is and the loading dock. Roberta had this idea in past years of sunflowers in different areas on campus, and that's an area that already has planting bins. It's got kind of all the stuff set up. I think if I recall, there's even bags of potting soil back there that can be used for this. So that's one of the things on my list when I meet with Christina Nguyen is to talk about what we need for this. The cool thing about a lot of native plants like sunflowers is they don't need that much attention really, other than a little bit of watering. And at a certain stage, I think you might have to, with certain sunflowers, you might have to stick a little post or stick or some sort to make sure that they don't fall over. However, the whole point is to put some stuff in there that is pretty and also doesn't take a whole lot of hours for people to keep on top of. And also provides pollinators with plants on campus. And I know sunflowers are one of those plants. And there's a whole number, I think marigolds were another one that Roberta had proposed. And we'll see what they say in facilities and in finance, and hopefully move that forward a little bit. It'd be nice. All right. Does anybody have anything about the pollinator project? Again, unfortunately, we don't have Roberta's audio here today. All right. So our next item, moving right along, is for employees, for faculty and staff. You are probably well aware. For students, students who are in the library are discovering that we have all new printers on campus, which you might think, how is this a green team related thing? Well, before I even started here at BCC, I think on my onboarding materials, one of the things that they wanted to do was put a system in place, a print release system to cut down on wasted paper, wasted toner from printouts that were never collected. So these new printers for faculty and staff, in faculty and staff areas, you have to use your BCC ID card, one of these things right here, and swipe it in front of the machine in order to get your printout out. And this is our first week with those printers in place. I know IT is working through some glitches and some fixes in order to get everything working the way that it should. But the whole goal is that having this system in place will cut down on BCC's waste, cut down on our bottom line, our budget too. The less we print, the less we have to pay on our contract. So yes, basically just an informational thing. Hey, this is something that we've been thinking about for a while, and it's finally now in place. And anybody has any questions, comments, or anything, like feel free to bring those up. Yes, students can still print. That was Erica's question. Yeah. Printers here in the library, you don't need a swipe card. So jobs at the moment, they come out just like they always did. You print and it just comes right out. There's still some little details we're working out with photocopying. That's a little bit different, but we have a lot more printing than photocopying in the library anyway. Any other questions or comments about the new printers? Right, I'm not seeing any, so moving on to our next item. That is Recycle Mania. And as I often do, I'm going to share my screen. And let's look at our live stats for Recycle Mania. So we go to scoreboard results. I have not done this today, so I do not know what we will see. Diversion is our category. So it looks like we are UI over the thing. We are in 9th place with 58.721% diversion, which is not great. It's certainly a lot lower than our highest. If we would ever have our highest, that was in the 80s. So if we had been doing our best all along, we would be #1 right now. But I guess the other side of that is that really none of these other schools are at the numbers that they were when we were at that 80-something%. So everybody's numbers are kind of down across the board. This is the last week of Recycle Mania. So after campus race to zero waste, whatever you want to call it. I still kind of, my brain still sticks with the old name. There's just a lot of syllables in the new name. But we're doing okay. We're doing pretty good. I looked at the video that we had put together showing folks how to recycle on campus, and I think it had about 60 or so views last I looked at it, which, you know, is not super great, but at least we have the information out there for people who want to know how to put things in the right bin. And I do get questions from time to time, what goes in what bin, mainly because I'm just in the right place at the right time. People are throwing out their lunch items and they're like, hey, Christian, where does this go? But any other thoughts or ideas on campus race to zero waste, recycle mania? We should have our final results. Usually they come out a week or two, sometimes a little later, usually around Earth Day. We should know where our final place is there. And I do want to put a special shout out to, he couldn't make it today, but oh God, now I'm blanking on his name. Sean Regan has been helping me with the measurements, and it's been awesome. Sean has been doing the measurements on Tuesdays through Fridays, which has been a great help to me. It's a lot to check those dumpsters all the time. And I know Daryl had been reaching out to me about some recycling on the gym floor, and we'll continue to chat about that. But I'm pretty happy with how we've done Recyclemania, and we can always do better. That's kind of always the bottom line for this competition. It's even though we are competing with other schools, we're also kind of competing with ourselves. And checking out the dumpsters as I have, even with Sean's help, I can tell you I've seen a lot of things in the wrong bins, a lot of cardboard where it shouldn't belong. There were a couple times where I saw some materials that probably shouldn't even be in the dumpsters, like some old computer equipment at one point. We can only do what we can do at a certain point, but we can always do better as well. So next year, probably in the fall, we'll talk in a green team meeting about strategies for improving the 2024 competition for campus race to zero waste. Any thoughts, ideas, comments on that? Yes.
So is there like a little more together
Good question. And I get this question often is, do we have a good way on campus, just because I don't know if the microphone picked it up, do we have a good way on campus to get rid of electronic recycling? And the answer to that is no, we don't really. Our IT folks, they do have a little bit of a limited way to recycle computers, but first we try to donate equipment. So a lot of the technology that is college owned ends up getting donated. People ask me where can they bring their own individual stuff, and there have been events we've had in the past, but the recycling. The recording is Roberta's connected twice, and I had to mute her because it was echoing on her side. So that's what that was for anybody wondering. She's here on her computer and her phone. It's causing that sound to be a little loud to figure out how to stop it. So what we will do is we got a couple more items on the list, and then I will give Roberta a few minutes to see if she can unmute and see how that goes. Clearly it didn't go so good on the first go. Although Roberta, I see you are now unmuted if you want to try to say something. All right, I guess we will chug along. So the next item is Roberta's item, the Green Team Bulletin Board. Yesterday, and something we talked about for a while, Roberta had, the audio levels can make a lot of background noise, and the AI on the meeting hall takes a little while to adjust, but as I speak, it should start to get better and better. Colin, is it any better now? You hear me because the levels aren't so high? Right. So I don't know if anybody can hear me. Maybe Daryl, who else is here?
Yeah, you're a little more muffled than you were, but I can hear you.
Yeah, whenever there's a weird audio event on these meeting owls, it kind of resets its zero level, like its adjustment level for the audio. And the only way to fix it is to just keep talking and it'll fix itself. I hope that that's something that they fix on a future update, because it's been more of a problem than the last update, but that's not even a green team topic, so maybe I'll edit this out of the recording. So I'm assuming it's a little bit better now, because that's generally how this works when it happens. And there's the bulletin board that Roberta made. It's over here in the digital comments. And right now, most of what's posted on this bulletin board is blog posts. So if anybody wants to write anything for the BCC blog, that is always an opportunity. If folks, want to put anything on the Green Team bulletin board, just reach out to Roberta and myself, and we can make that happen. It's a physical bulletin board. I was going to bring a photo of it to the meeting today, but my morning got kind of busy and I didn't have time to do that, even though Roberta sent me a photo. I just don't have it on this computer. So anybody has any thoughts about the Green Team bulletin board? Feel free to chime in on questions. And we're pretty much through with our agenda. Just one more, mainly a housekeeping item, is since we've been having monthly meetings, it's really hard to get stuff done monthly. So I'm thinking of having another meeting in early April before Earth Day, where we can talk a little bit more about our end of April community cleanup, which we'll be organizing at that point. That'll be one of our main topics in that meeting. So just keep an eye on your calendars. It seems to always be challenging to find a time when everybody can meet. So I don't know if anyone has any suggestions for a fix on that. When I schedule at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, there tends to be a lot of meetings at that time and stuff like that. So, and then also the facilities folks can't come, but then again, there are no facilities people here anyway, because I guess there's a facilities meeting right now. It's just one of those things where there never seems to be a good time for these things. But if anyone has a solution to that, like, feel free to pitch in or send me a private message and we can figure all that stuff out. Kind of I think the most challenging thing about campus right now is scheduling. All right, and now our last item, if anyone has any topics that they themselves have brought, they would like to discuss, feel free. I know I've been seeing in the news lately, early this week, there's a lot of reports that climate scientists are saying that we're coming up on our last chance to really fix the planet if we want to. And if we don't make some changes to some big things, some of these effects that humanity have had on our planet are soon to be irreversible. I guess the flip side to that is I kind of see the same news story every couple of years. So it's one of those things where I'm sure other people see the same news story every couple of years and don't take it seriously. So I don't know if anybody has any thoughts or anything else new they would like to bring. That's one example of something that comes to mind. Cool. Well, I'm not seeing anything. So that looks to be the end of our meeting. Again, check your calendars out. I hope to have another meeting beginning of April, probably 2-3 weeks-ish from now. And again, I'll try to find a good time. I'll probably move it around, kind of like throwing darts at the dartboard just to see who we can get to show up to these things. And do please, anybody who has any ideas, please feel free to reach out. Let me know. If you want to take on a project, please, by all means, reach out and let us know. I guess that's sort of the BCC way. If you propose something, be ready to be in charge of that thing. All right, if there's nothing else, that is the end of our meeting. We went through everything pretty quickly, so I'll get about 20-25 minutes back to your, what is it, Wednesday morning. Thank you, everybody, for coming, and you'll be seeing an email with the recording coming out pretty soon, and I'll start scheduling that next meeting.
Thanks, Christian.
Yes, thank you, everybody. Have a great day, all.